Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. I'm Corset by name, and in case the first time coming across my video, thank you so much for stopping by. Please hit on the subscribe button and also turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always watching. Please do well by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you get notified anytime we upload a new video. Okay, so in today's video I'll be sharing with you guys how to cut and draft a waist snatched corset with deep illusion neckline. Okay, so if this sounds like something you want to know, please keep on watching and let's get into today's video.
Shared the pieces of ourselves, it's perfect timing now. We fueled the flames, but we're still learning to trust.
So guys, the first thing you need to do is to draw a straight line at the top like this. Right, make a straight line this way. So this line here we serve as our starting point. Okay, so now you place your tape, come down by your bust point and your under bust, your waistline and your full length. So my full length of this top is of this blouse is 24 inches. So I repeat what I just did here. I marked my bust point, my under bust, my waistline and my top length. After that, I'll rule a straight line across like this. Okay, so after making the straight line like this, I'll also go ahead and label. So for the last line, I'll label as the top length. I'll label this one as the waistline, the under bust, and here is my bust point. After that, I'll come up by 2 inches from my bust point line. I placed my tape, then I came up by 2 inches, then I made a straight line. After that, I'll label as my chest line. On this starting point line, I will divide my shoulder circumference by 2 plus half inch stitching allowance. After that, I'll make a straight line. Once I'm through with that, on neckline, I'll mark 3 by 3. You can see. Then after that, I'll use my curve rule to make a round neckline. Okay, so after I was done doing that, next thing to do is to come down by 1 inch. This is for my shoulder slope. After that, I'll connect. Okay, so once I'm through with that, I'll label as the shoulder line. So from that side, I'll place my tape, then divide what I have there by 2, also come in by half an inch, then mark quarter of my bust circumference on the chest line. After that, I'll go ahead and connect the 3 dots I have here just like this. Use your curve rule, or you can also achieve this using your free hand. Just go ahead and make your curve. All right, so after I was done doing that, next thing is to divide my nipple to nipple by 2. Mine is 7 inches, so divided by 2 is 3.5. I'll mark 3.5 on the waistline. I'll also mark it on the top length. Okay, after marking on the under bust, I'll mark 3.5. On the bust point, I'll mark 3.5. On the chest line, I'll mark 3.5. After that, I'll use my ruler to connect it to give me a straight line just like this. Okay, so divide your nipple to nipple by 2, you mark it, then make a straight line with it. So after doing that, on the under bust line, I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. Okay, so if your bust is like 42 43, you mark 1.5. Okay, so for me, I marked 1 inch on both sides. Then on the top length, I came up by 2 inch. After that, I'll go ahead and make a straight line from the bust, from the under bust to the waistline, and again I'll connect it to the point I marked 2 inches. Okay, you can see what I have here. So after I was done with this, the next thing I want to do now is to go ahead and place my tape from the shoulder. I'll measure what I have there. I have I think 7 inches, so I want to come up by half inch. You can also maintain the chest line if you want to show, some flesh, and you can also come up by 6 inches if you want. Okay, so for me, I came up by half an inch. All right, so after marking the half inch there on the chest line, it came up by half an inch. After that, I'll use my ruler to make a straight line just like this. And after making my straight line, I'll label as the new chest line. Okay, I'll label as new chest line. All right, and also extend the that line. Okay, so after I was done with that, next thing to do is to subtract 1 inch on both sides. On the chest line, you subtract 1 inch on both sides. So this is to avoid caping on our corsets. Okay, it's to avoid caping on our corset. After that, I'll connect it to the bust point. You can see from there you connect to your bust point. Okay, so once I'm through with that, what I'll do next is to place my tape from the bust point line. I'll come down by 1 inch. Okay, so after marking, I'll from there I'll connect it to the under bust just like this. Okay, after that, the next thing to do is to add your bust dart. Okay, so for my bust dart, I'll come down by 2 inches from the bust point line. Come down by 2 inches, okay, on the side. After that, use your ruler to connect it to the dart leg. Okay, connect to the dart leg on the same bust line. So after connecting, you can see what I have here. So I'll also go ahead and cut this out later. Okay, this bust that I will remove it later. Okay, so once you're through with that, I'll place my tape from the shoulder. I want to determine where I would want the deep curve to start from. Okay, you can decide to maintain the under bust line. So for me, I came down by half an inch from the under bust line. Came down by half an inch. So from there, I'll make my curve. Okay, this is for the deep neckline. Go ahead and make your curve. You can see mine is somehow wide. If you don't want yours too wide, you can also um curve it inside a little bit. Okay, so from there, I connect from the bust point. I made my corset cup to meet the under bust. All right, I connected my corset cup from the bust point to the under bust. You can see when I did that. So from the other that leg on this other side, I marked 3.5, and the 3.5 is for my half of nipple to nipple. All right, so after that, you can see I'll go ahead and connect the other cup. So reaching here, I have to stop. Then I measured what I have, the distance I have from there to this other side on the armhole. I measured it and it's almost 1 inch. Okay, so I'll divide it by 2. After marking, I also come down by half an inch. Use my ruler to make a straight line on the other side. So this will serve as our new armhole line. So from there, I'll connect the curve. Okay, can you see? So after that, I'll use my curve rule to also make my curve, my corset cup. I'll use it to make my corset cup. Just curve it like this. All right, so after I was done with this, you can see where I have here. So from the picture inspiration we are working with, the neckline I did at the front is exactly the same thing. Okay, we are going to come to that later, so let me explain what I did here. So I just aligned this side. I aligned the both edge. I just aligned to make sure it's the same. So you can see that I also came up a little bit with the curve. So after aligning the both edge, like the both curve at the center, what I did here was to place my tape to the shoulder, and I measured what I have there, divided it by 2. Then I made my shoulder line. You can see I connected it to the bust point. Okay, so after that, I will go ahead and add my bust circumference. That is, measure your bust circumference by 4. You mark it, then you add your 2 inches seam allowance. Measure your dart intake, add it as well. On the waistline, you do the same. Mark quarter of your waistline circumference, then you mark it, then you add this 2 inches, as in you replace your 2 inches. Okay, so from the hip, you divide your hip circumference by 4, then add 2 inches seam allowance. Do not add an extra allowance because the hip doesn't have any dart. All right, that's why I came up by these 2 inches on the top length. So after I was done doing all of this, you can see what I have here. So we are done with the drafting of this corset and the neckline. So what I want to do now is to go ahead and make the waist snatch. All right, so to make your waist snatch, yeah, I want to take out 4 inches for my waist snatch. All right, I want to just take out 4 inches from my actual waist circumference. My waist circumference is 28. All right, so I removed 4 inches. You can remove 6 inches, you can remove 5 inches. Any inches you remove, you go ahead and take it out to your actual waist circumference. Let me repeat again. My waist circumference is 28. All right, so I took out 4 inches. So when I took out the 4 inches, I have 24 inches left. So I'll divide the 4 inches I took out by 4. Okay, when I divide 2 inches 4 inches by 4, I will have 1 inch. Okay, so what I will do here is to place my tape on this dart leg. On this dart leg, I will go ahead and divide what I have there. Okay, do the same thing on the top side. You divide what you have, you place your tape from that leg, measure, you divide what you have there. After that, after dividing, you make a straight line with it. Okay, so from the waistline I made a straight line and also connected it to the under bust line. You can see what I did here. I just connect to the under bust line. All right, so this is it. All right, so remember we took out the 4 inches for our waist snatching, and when you divide it by 4, it is 1 inch. So that 1 inch, that's 1 inch, I will divide it by 2. All right, then I will mark half inch on both sides. All right, the 1 inch you go ahead and divide it by 2, mark half inch on both sides. All right, so you come up by 2 inches on the top length side, then also go ahead and connect. Let me remind you that if you want to make a waist snatch, the half inch, you're only going to take your half inch on the waistline only, because you're making a waist snatch. Only the half inch should be taken, or the 1 inch should be taken on your waistline. All right, so this is how you go about drafting a corset with waist snatch and a deep illusion neckline. Okay, so I will go ahead and shade this part. So any part I shade is the part I will be cutting off. All right, so you remember I was explaining something. Okay, so the picture inspiration we are working with, I just needed the front neckline. All right, you can see the side of the cup and the side of the picture we are working with is not the same thing. Okay, if you want yours exactly the same, you can go ahead and make your curve. So now on the top length, I came up by 2.5 inches on the top length. So from there, I'll make my curve. All right, you go ahead and curve it. So after I was done with this, you can see what I have here. So this is all for this drafting. Okay, this is all for the drafting of the front pattern. So I'll just go ahead and cut everything out. So just watch what I'm doing here. Watch so closely so you know where to cut out, so you don't cut out on the wrong part. Remember I said I will be cutting this bust dart. Okay, so this is what you would do. Watch so closely so you know where I cut out. Okay, watch so closely so you know where to cut out. All right, I'll just come down and cut out each and every one of the piece, just like this. You can see what I'm doing here. Can you see? So after cutting the cup, I'll also cut out the yoke. So this is how I'm doing everything. Can you see? After cutting, I will label the yoke as the yoke. Okay, after labeling, this is the first cup and this is the first piece, second, third. Okay, this is the body, the first body, the second body, and the third body. All right, you have to label so you don't get confused when transferring or when sewing to your actual fabric. All right, so the next thing is to also cut out this bust that, like I said. So I'll just cut it out like this. I'll use my masking tape to tape it. I'll also do the same thing on the other cup. All right, so guys, after cutting everything, you can see what I have here. So I didn't know my camera stopped recording because of not having enough storage. All right, so when I noticed this, I really gonna have to cut everything out and also tape everything. That is the two cups. So this was what I cut out here. This is the bust that. All right, I cut this out from this side, then I had to sellotape it. If you don't have a sellotape or masking tape, then you go ahead and arrange it so very well. Then maybe you should hold it with your pin, then go ahead and cut on another paper to give you your one piece. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to draft out the back. Okay, so for the back, this is very simple. Just rule a straight line at the top. It will serve as your starting point, just like we did on the front pattern. So right here I marked my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and the top length, which is 24 inches. After that, I rule a straight line across. All right. After doing this, I'll also go ahead and label as the bust point, the under bust, the waistline, and top length. After I was done with that, I'll place my tape on the bust point line, then I'll come up by 2 inch. After that, I rule a straight line across, then also label as my chest line. Okay, so after doing that, I'll also mark 1 inch for my zip allowance. Okay, I'll mark 1 inch for my zip allowance. Then I'll go ahead and connect it to give me a straight line. After connecting, I also label as the zip allowance. Okay, so if you want to make a back loops, like if you want to make an open bag, that is want to lace up your own bag, there's no need adding your zip allowance. I have a tutorial on how to do that. Okay, so I'll be leaving a link in the show box, so you go ahead and check a video on how to lace up and how to draft the back. I have a detailed tutorial on how to draft this particular bag that I'm doing here. Okay, but that's one I did not include zip allowance. So after making the shoulder and all of that, I came down by 1.5 inches for the neck depth, then also mark 3 inches for the neck wideness. All right, so after I was done with this, the next thing I want to do now is to make my dart. So for the shoulder, I came down by 1 inch for the slant, and I told you it's 3 inches on the shoulder, on the neck wideness. Then I came down by 1.5 inches for the neck depth. This is my chest line, bust point, under bust, waistline, top length. All right, just like we did at the front. So now I marked my half of nipple to nipple, which is 3.5 inches. After marking, I'll make a straight line using my ruler. Okay, just like this, you make a straight line using your ruler like this. Okay, so after I was done with that, on the chest line I came down by 1 inch, on the top length I came up by 2 inch. All right, so after that, on the waistline I will subtract half inch on both sides. This is for the dart, it's not for the waist snatching, this is just for a normal dart. Okay, so after connecting like this, I also connect from the point I came down by 1 inch on the chest line, just connect from there to meet the waistline. Okay, just like this. So guys, after I was done with this, the next thing to do now is to add my measurement. Okay, so for the bust, I'll mark quarter of the bust circumference. All right, then add 2 inches for the seam allowance. So on the waist, I'll divide it by 4, mark it, replace the 1 inches on the dart, and also add 2 inches for the seam allowance. On the hip, I'll divide it by 4, I'll mark it, then add 2 inches for the seam allowance. After that, I'll use my ruler to connect those points I marked. Okay, I'll use my ruler to connect like this. After connecting with my ruler, you can see what I have here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to come up on the side, on the top length. On the side, you come up by 2.5 inches, then go ahead and connect. Okay, you make your curve, your side curve, just like we did on the front pattern, at the front pattern. Okay, so after I was done doing that, for the zipper bulge, we want to eliminate any zipper bulge, like any form of zipper bulge on the allowance side, on the zipper allowance side. So to do that, I'll extend the waistline to meet the zip allowance. Then I'll just come inside by half inch. I'll come inside by half inch, then I'll go ahead and connect. That's what I did here. Then I also connect from that side again. There is somewhere around that side. Go ahead and connect to the waistline. So like this, already remove the zipper bulge. Okay, so for the neck, I measured from the shoulder, and what I had was from the shoulder to the chest line, I have 7 inches. Okay, so I want to make a curve. That particular curve I want to make here, I already have the tutorial which I'll be linking in the show box. I'll link the link in the show box. So I want to make the wideness of this dart. Okay, I want to make use of the wideness, that is 3.5 inches of this dart intake. So you can see the curve I made from the neckline to the chest line. Okay, you can also decide to leave it at 5 inches, like make the wideness 4 inches or 5 inches or so. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I want to make the waist snatch for the back. Okay, so to do that, just like we did at the front pattern, you're going to divide, just place your tape from the start leg All right, you divide whatever you have from that leg to the other side, divide it by 2. After marking, you make a straight line. Okay, so remember we took out 2 inches on the other front pattern, so we want to took out the remaining 2 inches that's supposed to complete it 4 inches on the back pattern. Okay, so to do that, it's the same thing just like we did on the front pattern. You're going to just subtract half inch on both sides. All right, remember you can take off 6 inches from your waist measurement. Okay, so 4 inches, I think 4 inches is normal, and the highest you can take out is 6 inches. Okay, so now after that, I'll just go ahead and connect from the under bust down to the waistline. So remember, you're going to take this waist snatching half inch, like this half inch, you take it only on the waist line. All right, then you connect from the under bust to the top length you came up by 2 inch. You get, so at this point I even forgot to make my curve for the armhole, so I remembered it, then I had to add the curve. Okay, I almost forgot. So after that, I'll use my curve rule to connect just like this. And this is basically all for the drafting of this back pattern. And next thing is to label the upper part as the yoke. Okay, then I also label here as 1 2 3. Label the body so I don't make mistake if I want to transfer to the actual fabric. All right, so this video will not have any continuation. It's just for drafting. Okay, this is just for drafting process and all of that, so you know how to add how to make or add a waist snatch to your pattern drafting. Especially for beginners, this video I think is very helpful, I guess. All right, so now you go ahead and cut everything out. After cutting everything out, this is what I have here for the back pattern. So I will just show you guys both the back and the front pattern. So this is the back and front pattern. This is what we have here, so you can actually transfer to your actual fabric, then go ahead and sew. All right, so guys, we have come to the end of our today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you love this video, kindly subscribe. If this video was a little bit helpful, you go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.